Good afternoon, everybody. Really good turnout. Great to see you all. If you've got some just
All right.
aware if you've got speakers in
Um,
reverb, and I'm just going to
hang on
great.
a minute. Daisy.
All right, everybody. If you're able to turn cameras on, that'd be really helpful. It's nice to see faces and would like to talk to you. It's difficult to talk into the void. Going to ask you to do some working together today. So um, if you turn your camera on, it shows me that I know I can pair you up with somebody else to talk to. Otherwise, it's a bit difficult for that. Thank you. Um, all right. If you can hear like squeaking and chewing in the background, I've got a slightly restless puppy who I think is going to give me an hour, but fingers crossed. So if I'm shouting off at stuff, that's him. Um, we're in the one hot room in the house. Okay, right. Well, I'll make a start. It's really lovely to see you, and I hope January is treating you well. So we're talking about resources today. Uh, as with all the other meetings, where you've got questions about the syllabus and so on, I don't want to send anybody away without being able to, without answers to those questions. So, um, can I just, and thanks for that message, Janine, by the way. Can I just say that if there's at any point you've got any questions, interrupt and ask or pop them in the chat. And because we're going to have our focus is mainly going to be on resources to support the syllabus, but it's about the resources really because they can fit wherever you want them to. And thank you for that, Lisa. Can I ask everybody to do me a favor first and just tell me in the chat if you could put your name and your school. Some people are here from different links and different invitations, but it enables me to give the register back to the people who have asked me for a register, which is mainly Essex Council. But it also enables me to kind of keep track of what schools I'm getting to talk to and so on. So if you put your name and your school, that's really helpful. I'm going to share anyone that's been to any of these meetings before, I'm going to share with you a link to a spreadsheet that I keep, which kind of collates all of this because I've got some questions. It would be lovely to come and visit some of you. It would be great if you'd like to think about some things like the RE quality mark, and I'll share that several times with you. So okie dokie. If your name or your screen name doesn't currently say, what you'd like to be called, if you hover over the three dots, if you hover over your image, then in the top right you've got three dots there, and you can just change that to your name so that I can use it, and other people can use your name as well. Because I'm going to pop you into breakout rooms a little bit later to do some looking at some resources to see what works for you. Okay, so I'm going to make a start. I think I should be recording now. Yep, good. So as with all other meetings, the recordings go into a shared folder, and I'll show you where that folder is, so that you can access anything that you're after. So let's just to start off with, please. Can I ask you just to pop into the chat what you're really looking for today? Because some of you might be like, I want resources for Hinduism, and others might say, I'm feeling really lost with the to know something about the lenses. So if you could put into the chat the kind of the key thing that you'd like to get out of today, I will make sure that I read through that and weave it in, whether I go and visit you in breakout rooms to help you with that or address it as a whole group. That would be really helpful. So if you just pop into the chat for me what it is you're really looking for today, and I'll try to make sure that those are all addressed by the end. Yes, that's really useful. Thanks, Tiffany, the role of RE communicator. So yeah, there'll be some stuff. I'm going to point you towards some things on RE Online for CPD as well as other resources. Yeah, accessing resources, trips and people. Good. Yes, we're going to be talking certainly about people. Trips might be something that we could maybe do a bit of a share on that if there are any trips that people have found to be particularly effective. It sort of depends where you are, doesn't it, as to what's logistically possible. I've taken children on buses 6 hours to across the other side of London and stuck in traffic all day and not repeated those again. And then sometimes you find somebody that's just 5 minutes down the road who's prepared to come in, who's fantastic. So thank you for posting that in the chat. If you only just joined, I just asked everybody to put into the chat what they're really looking for today, so that I can try and make sure I weave that in as much as possible. But remembering that today the title is Finding Great Resources. So let's make a start on that. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay. So firstly, if at any point, by the way, it looks like what you can see is not what you think I'm talking about, give me a yell. I'm just warming up after the winter break. My Zoom skills may not be as silky as I'd like them to be. So if I think I'm showing you a video and you can't see a video, please do shout. Firstly, myself and Ruth Everett, the consultant supporting Sacre over this year as we roll out the new agreed syllabus. And this is just on this slide here, and I put into the chat. I think it was before people joined, so it may be that if you might not have seen this, but I'm just going to post it again now. Going into the chat are these slides, the link to these slides, which you'll find useful a little bit later, particularly useful a little bit later, but helpful now as well. Okay. So these are the meeting links throughout the year. Feel free to join anything and everything. And what we are starting to talk about really today is about supporting you through resources. There is a link in the slides to this form here, which just helps me to understand what's going on in your schools and to see if I can support you. So just if you can fill that in for me, that'd be amazing. I'll post it in the chat as well. That's really helpful. So just before we sort of start off with the resources, if you think of the new syllabus as well, it is just good teaching and learning. If you just take a moment, if you're using big questions to frame your lessons, if you feel that you can identify philosophy, theology, and social sciences across your curriculum, if you're trying to help children to see the world through different lenses, through different eyes, through different filters or goggles, I like to call them, in different ways, to empathize with other people, if you're encouraging children to be inquisitive, and if you're looking to model high quality language, then you're doing the things that the syllabus is all about. So just worth kind of keeping those in mind as we go through today. The first thing I wanted to do was just a plug, really, that at the end of this month is a conference called Strictly RE. It's online and it's face to face. And I would really highly encourage you to check it out. And in terms of kind of invigorating your practice and getting you kind of buzzing about what there is out there, it's a fabulous resource and opportunity. If you only ever attend one, do it, and then you'll make so many contacts. You'll have so many ideas about what's going on in the RE world. So I would encourage you to have a look at that, see where you might be able to get involved with attending in some way. The Strictly RE conference this year, very, very good stuff. And I'm not going to play that. I'm going to move ahead. So I just wanted to start by I wanted to share something with you first. Then I'm going to ask you to all share. So if you want to be just getting this in your mind, I'm going to ask everybody to pop into the chat something like a good resource or a good source that they make use of in a moment, and how you use it. But I'll start with this. So this was put together by CTSN a couple of years ago now, and they were looking to bring together subjects on a page. This is the RE one. There's lots of others, and this gives you things like Twitter handles, websites to have a look at, where to find, just kind of open up your awareness. And I think sometimes it's really useful just to have something like this as a starting point for where can I go and look for other stuff. And what I really want to make sure we share today are things that are kind of peer reviewed, in that they're high quality, trustable resources. That's what I'm going to really focus on today. And so that that when you go to this website, you're going to get good stuff that isn't going to take you in the wrong direction. So can I ask everybody now, I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment. What do you already use and how? It might be a website, it might be a person, it might be an organization. What is it for RE at the moment that you find really effective, and how do you use it? If you can put it in the chat, something that you use and how you used it. And if you can just say how that is. So Tiffany, that's such a biggie, Nat Trade School membership. Tell us what it is that you find. But do you want to just come onto Mike and tell us what that is?
We only joined the membership.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tiffany. You start again. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We only joined the membership just before we closed for the school holidays. To give you a bit of background, Wells Park is an SEMH school, so it's slightly, well, it's quite very different to a normal state school. We have a lot of different behaviours to deal with, which affects the delivery and coverage of our curriculum. However, we realised that RE was one of the subjects that kind of got pushed off the end nearly enough every week. So I needed a starting place, and reading through the Essex SACRA agreed syllabus, and on their homepage, the link to the NATRA became quite evident that it was worth looking at. So after looking at the resources that were available, because currently it's EYFS Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, work is available via RE Online. So the NATRA is like a massive hub. It's vast. I'm still kind of getting used to it myself. It gives you lots of support as an RE lead, lots of links to resources, courses, and then it's affiliated with RE Online, which if you click on the RE Online if you're a member, so all my colleagues are now members, there are, I kind of guess, units, the big question units for every, so for EYFS Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, there's the big question units, which obviously link to the Essex agreed, the SACRA Essex agreed syllabus. So for example, the one that we're working on at the moment is Year 1, Year 1 like program of study, and it's 6 lessons on what it means to be a Muslim. I believe that's the title of it. And then with that, you get a breakdown of what's covered in those 6 lessons. You'll get PowerPoints to support those lessons, teacher's guide on how to deliver those lessons. You'll also get a knowledge organizer, which is really helpful because it goes through keywords, key themes. And then from Year 1 onwards, there's also assessment work, like worksheet, I suppose, that you can use at the end of the unit. There's also sticky knowledge. So for a school that hasn't taught RE much at all, it's giving us a structure of what it looks like working from a big question and how it would progress over 6 weeks. When I looked at the reception programme of study, say for a 6-week block, it was really quite advanced. So the Year 1, some of the Year 1 Bible links are what I would consider quite advanced as well. I'm happy to use this throughout the school, and we go up to Year 6, even though we've only got the programs for Year 3 at the moment. So reception Year 1, Year 2, and Year 3, because the content is really quite advanced. It really focuses on questioning, empathizing, getting children to sort of compare and contrast their knowledge, show what they know, but also to look at religion from a secular society, I suppose, which in our school, we're a sort of micro society of a particularly secular society, so I found that it's really, really helped. I know the staff have really helped, really found it's helpful. We're only like literally 2 weeks into using it. And like I said, it's vast. It's a huge website, but I'm really keen to sort of go with it and see how it works, because it's a good structure for the teaching and learning of RE.
Thanks, Courtney. That's such a thorough rundown of all the stuff that NATRE offer for you. So NATRE, for anybody that doesn't know, is the National Association for Teachers of Religious Education. So you can trust it. You can bet your house on it. It's really solid. If you ever really get into the RE world and you want to, they have a sort of a rotating executive committee you could really get involved with, kind of shaping RE in the country if you wish to. I spent a few years on their committee, and it really kind of helped me to understand how it all fits together. But they have fabulous resources, whether you're an RE lead or just inverted commas teaching RE. And in terms of the cost of that, I believe it's £149 for a year for a basic school membership. I think there's various tiers. So I'd really encourage you to have a good look at that. And Tiffany, one of the things you mentioned was about how some of the resources are quite advanced for what you were trying to achieve. And that's worth really, thinking about with all of the resources we look at today. You can kind of scaffold up and scaffold down. If you've got a good bank of resources and ideas, you can make those work together. Okay, so I'd just like to share my screen, and we're going to take a look at some other resources. So this is one that I absolutely love, and this is from TrueTube. I just wanted to start by sharing something that I think is really powerful and how I use it. So TrueTube has all kinds of award-winning resources, and I'm going to just show you something from Key Stage 1, which is a series called Charlie and Blue, and what TrueTube do is they commission videos, then they put together lesson plans and resources. I like to tie it up with their calendar as well, so I'm kind of teaching things at the right time of the year. And it's fully kind of searchable. It's free. You have to register, but it's free. And I'd just like to show you a bit of a Charlie and Blue, and then how I would go about using it. Because the thing is, the resource alone is never enough, is it? You've got to use that resource in a way that's really powerful. So I'm just going to show you a bit of Charlie and Blue.
Wake up, Blair. Hello, Charlie. Hello, you. Look, Charlie, it's my birthday.
I know. Happy birthday.
My favourite. Thank you. I wish we could have birthday cake every day.
But then it wouldn't be special.
I suppose you're right. What else do people celebrate with special food?
Jewish people celebrate the Passover with a special meal. I learned about it in school today. This is a picture of Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt.
Why did he do that?
Why don't you come with me and find out?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushani b'mitzvotav, v'tzivani lahadlik ner shel Yom Tov.
What did you just say?
It's a prayer in Hebrew asking God to bless the Passover.
What was the Passover?
Well, God sent 10 plagues over the Egyptians to try and persuade Pharaoh to let the Jews go and stop being slaves. The plagues included blood, frogs, big spots, and even the death of the firstborn. That's the one that passed over the Jewish people. Why don't you sit down?
You ate all of the things on this plate?
Yes, some of them. They help us to remember the story.
How do I help to tell the story?
Well, the parsley dipped in the salt water reminds us of the tears that the slaves cried when they were in Egypt. Have a try. This is a lamb bone. The Jews used to cook a lamb at Passover and offer some of it to God. This is the charoset. It's a paste of fruit and nuts that reminds us of the cement the Jews used to stick the bricks together when they were building for the Egyptians. Why don't you try some? This is the horseradish. If you eat enough, it could bring tears to your eyes. Why don't you try some? It's supposed to remind us of the bitterness of slavery. This is a hard-boiled egg. It's a symbol of new life and reminds us that even in the darkest of times, there's always hope for a new beginning.
What's that? It looks like a great big cracker.
That's matzah. It's like bread, but without the yeast. Yeast is what makes bread soft and springy. When the Jewish people lived in Egypt, they didn't have time for the bread to rise, so they just took the bread without yeast. Would you like to try some?
Darling, it's okay.
Time to go home now, Blue.
Thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome. Here, this is for you. It's a Seder Haggadah, the order of the service.
Thank you.
What did we learn today?
Well, today we went to a Jewish home and we learned that Jews have a special meal every year to help them remember the Passover. Passover is the story of how the Jews escaped from slavery in Egypt. The different foods are symbols. That means they stand for things which help us to remember. It's important to remember things that happened a long time ago because they help us to think about who we are and where we came from. Do you know where I came from?
I found you in the park on this day.
I'm so glad you did.
Me too. Good night, Blue.
Night, Charlie.
Oh, still playing. There it is. So Charlie and Blue is just I've been using TrueTube for about 10 years, and I've used it in Key Stage 2 and Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 as well. In fact, I used that video in Key Stage 4 and asked students to make their own version, but scaffolding it up, as if they were teaching it to somebody else. So what you do with resources obviously is up to you. But the great thing about TrueTube, I think, is the quality of the resources which they provide, and they always seem to facilitate really high level thinking, which is incredibly useful. Now, but the way that I tend to use that is all about the development of the resource, isn't it? If you were thinking about maybe using it to go into a discussion about truth and about the plagues of Egypt, you might look at it from a philosophical angle here, looking at the concept of truth, or maybe you might do like an emotional timeline where you have your characters move and their emotions going up and down and plotting it on an X and Y axis and exploring it from that perspective. Whenever I'm teaching this kind of area of Judaism, I always use food. If you get people together, breaking bread together, exploring all the different elements of the meal, sharing things, reading from the Haggadah, and then sometimes I get them to label a Seder plate is what I would typically do. I'll give them paper plates and have them label those plates, and that's kind of where your Twinkle resources can come in, really, because there's loads of all your TES stuff, because there's loads of kind of pre-made worksheets and things like that, so you can use it for that. Sometimes capturing things can be quite effective. I just wanted to pause over the purpose of RE, and just I tend to always leave this slide in, just reminding ourselves what it is we're trying to achieve here. This idea of religious literacy, and making sure that we're considering those worldviews. And a big question, I think, is how do we teach? How do we teach non-Christian religions? I think often very familiar with a lot of the Christianity stuff, but where we go elsewhere is often a question which I want to visit in a moment. I'm just going to skip past this, but just so you know, these are in the slides, and these are the worldview stuff, all of the kind of research on that, and a really lovely video. Nobody Stands Nowhere is great, but I will skip past those today. Just a reminder again that's in the slides, and I always include this one, and this is just a quick kind of breakdown of how to where all the different stuff is in the agreed syllabus. Sometimes it's really useful to have that. I just wanted to leave it in there and point you towards it if you haven't been to any of these meetings before. I tend to always leave that in there, and you've got a hyperlink to the syllabus at the top there. So let's steer into some resources and then get you talking to one another. Just so you're aware, many of you might be here because you've seen this version of this newsletter. It's linked here in the slides, which gives you the links to the meetings, but some other stuff as well, and some advice about NatTray membership. And just a reminder then, I said there's an open access Google Drive folder, which you can link to here. I put all the recordings of the meetings in here, and any other materials that I use all go into the same place. So if, for example, you were looking for some guidance on the theology lens, you'll find a recording in there of how that all works. So I just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Pretty much anything you might ask for is probably in there, and if it isn't, let me know. Also a reminder with regards to the resources that the Norfolk Agreed syllabus was launched 3 years before the Essex, and therefore has a great deal of resources to support your planning. They have inquiries fully worked out, fully resourced, loads of exemplars, loads of really good stuff there. I would encourage you, whenever you're planning, to have a look and go and see if there's stuff that can really save you some time over there as well. And if you're not sure, just contact me. I'm very happy to help. Okay, so the elephant in the room. Well, I've mentioned it already, and that elephant is Twinkl. Twinkl and TES can often be people's first port of call when planning a lesson, but from an RE perspective, it's right at the bottom of the taxonomy there. It's often very good for consolidating knowledge, for labeling, stuff like that. It can save you time building worksheets, but it's never hitting those high skills. It's never, in my experience, really stretching. Today my job is to point you towards the stuff that will. And this is a question that came up earlier about about guests, and I just wanted to point you towards a couple of things you might find useful. The Hinduism Education Services is really good. I'd encourage you to have a look at their website for some modules and for ideas and for services that they might be able to offer to you. So that's a really good one. And a plug for, we've just managed to secure the Jewish Living Experience exhibition is going to be hosted by Anglia Ruskin Chelmsford in 2024. So that's going to be from the 8th to the 12th, I believe, and we're just working out the details of that. But that'll be a free to visit, and children can kind of get involved with resources and things. So a pencil date for the diary right now, but you'll get an invitation direct to your schools. One final organisation here that can help you out with resources and high quality videos and are prepared to visit schools is the Bible Society. So I just thought I'd put them in there too. Okay, so now really the main event, if you like, the big hitters. I'm going to whip you through these slides and pop you straight into breakout rooms to spend 15 minutes in small groups finding some resources and some ideas that might be good for you, and then just sharing them when we come back together. So we're going to look at BBC, NatTray, RE Online, and TrueTube. So first up, this is what you do when you want to find resources on the BBC. You follow the arrows that I put on here. And so in a moment, you might like to go and do that. It's really good for all key stages and really good for teacher development. Like the GCSE area is really good. The Key Stage 3 area is really good. So for your subject knowledge, obviously you want to stay well ahead of the students, don't you? Tiffany, thank you for flagging that about the links on the Norfolk site do not work. Okay, I might just follow up with you in a breakout room. We'll see if we can solve that, because I know that some of them have changed. So yeah, I'll have a look at that for you. Okay, and I've downloaded a lot of it as well, so it might be that I can just make it available to you. TrueTube, I've already mentioned, really, really good. Highly encourage you to go and have a look at that in a minute. And again, it's searchable, so you can search by age range, subject, and so on. And it's so topical as well. So whatever's going on month by month, it's got a calendar as well. I always plug the SHAP calendar, SHAP. It's about £4, and it's a nice thing that you can stick on your wall. But if you're keeping an eye on what's going on in the world, then it just makes it really easy to kind of constantly drip RE into your provision. So in a moment, you might like to go and have a look at TrueTube. You might like to go and have a look at NatTray. I've already had a really good sell today from Tiffany, so thank you for that. And Natre have some fabulous resources and really good guidance for RE leads. And there you can see Strictly RE. All of the big RE organizations talk to each other. TrueTube, Natre, RE Online, RE Today. They're your big four, really. RE Today, I'm not talking about today. All of their resources you pay for. So I'm just making sure I include ones that have got lots of free stuff today. But RE Today have got, they're the people that build the really good stuff as well. Okay, so RE Online is the kind of source. It's written so many RE teachers involved in the creation of what RE Online do, as well as Natre, of course. But RE Online is really good for your professional development. You could have a look at there's a drop down menu, and they have essays effectively that would just give you everything that you need to know to feel really confident. And that's the key thing, isn't it? It's all about confidence. But also they have free CPD, so you could get or other teachers at your school could get onto their training there. And they also have resources as well, so just plain lesson teaching resources. And you'll find they cross-reference with TrueTube and BBC as well. So I am going to stop sharing, and I'm going to put you into some breakout rooms to go and find a resource, and then to come back and share how you'd use it from any of those four locations, or you might try somewhere else as well. I'm going to just pop into the chat again for anybody that joined later and didn't have that the link to my slides. And can I just check, Lauren, is this the Lauren Smart? Is that Lauren Smart who's joined us?
Yeah, that's me.
Great. Okay, lovely. Then fantastic. So that's good to have you. Okay, breakout rooms. We're going to give this for a grand total of 15 minutes, and I'm going to come and visit you to deal with any questions that you might want to ask. Okay, here we go. You should be being invited to join a room now. Hi, Charlotte. Hello. Hi, Charlotte. Did you drop off the call, or have you just joined us? Ah, right. Okay, Charlotte. So I've just this moment put everybody into breakout rooms to begin looking at some resources. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put into the chat so that you can see these are my slides. Why don't I'm gonna go and pop you. Did you say your mic's not working? So you're you're going to be a mute observer. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is just pop you over into a breakout room, onto room 5. Maybe what I'll do is give you a moment just to have, if you can open up those slides so you can see them. Okay, what everyone's doing is they're just off finding some good quality resources using the recommended sites that I gave them, and you'll be able to see those in those slides. So can I give you just a moment to have a look at those slides and let me know once you've identified what the 4 sites are that I'm referring to. Is that all right? Charlotte, I'm going to pop you into room 5 because I'm heading over to room 5. So I'll I'll explain your presence when I come over, okay? Because I'm going to go and have a chat with somebody in that room. Let's do 2 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Great. Well, I hope that you got something useful out of your time to assess how things are going with you and do a little bit of looking at those sites with any luck. I always wonder, like, when people come, whether it could find its way onto a personality diagnostic question, whether you come back from a Zoom breakout room like immediately or after maybe 30 seconds, or would you wait for the four, Anyway, so could I ask everyone to pop into the chat, please? Can you tell me something that you found or something that was useful out of the discussion you've just been having? It's good to know what you might have located. Or it could have been part of your conversation. If you could just pop into the chat, please, just a quick, what came out of that for you, or if there are any questions that came out of that. Whilst we're waiting to do that, is there anyone that would mind just coming onto their microphone and just letting us know anything that you found particularly helpful there? Any willing volunteers would like to share something that was helpful? Is anyone
I can come on.
Thank you. Go right ahead.
We got some use. We're a very small preschool, and we thought we might be on the wrong kind of training, but we got some very good information about Saffron Teaching Hub, and that they've got lots of good information for early years. So we will go on to there and see if we can find out some information for our little ones.
That's really helpful. So the Saffron Trust have put together a syllabus to go alongside or a curriculum, a set of resources to go alongside the RE agreed syllabus. The thing to make sure that you do, because the school is obviously responsible for making sure that it's in line with the agreed syllabus. So just make sure you're happy with that. And people have all kinds of mixed experiences of using a scheme. So there are some high quality resources that you can have a look at, some inspection resources online, where you can access those for free. They're linked from my slides actually, so you can have a look and see what there is there. And I know that some people are using it to great effect. I know that it resources some areas but not others. So what they've done is they've created a set of resources that fit their demographic. What you need to make sure is that it fits your demographic. So that's just the thing to look for there. Lovely. Now I just wanted to talk about artifacts very briefly. Could I ask oh, hang on, I've just got something. Katie, I was thinking about whether setting up swapping artifact boxes permanently. That's a really, really good idea. Let me reflect on how we might help facilitate that. It would be good to have like a kind of a swapping page. Someone had mentioned a Facebook page recently for Essex RE, that might be a good way of doing that. So maybe what I could do is set that up and send that out. That might be the best way of communicating. And email's not going to work. I don't think we have any other shared way of doing it. But if anyone has any great bright ideas how we might do that, that'd be great. Could I ask everyone just to pop into the chat, what's the best artifact that you have? Because we had a question earlier about artifacts and resources in the local community. So would I ask, could everyone just post into the chat now, what's the kind of the artifacts that you get the most mileage out of? And that would give us a nice little list of things that people find effective. And if you've got any people in your local community that you find really helpful, maybe just post that too. I'm just going to give that 60 seconds. Anything that you want to share, then we've got it, and we've looked at that question. There was a question about what we might put in an artifact box, and it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. Like for me, it's this little thing in Buddhism. It's called a dorja or a vajra, which is like it's what's known as a thunderbolt. It's a little metal item that has these kind of lotus flowers opening on it, and I won't get into the details, but it's my favorite. The cedar plate. Oh yeah, Gabby, you're right. The cedar plate with all of the bits and pieces is so effective. Your local vicar, Danny, thank you. Yeah, super helpful. Once you build those relationships, and if you go and visit people, they're so keen to help out with you. Adults in the school community, yeah, absolutely. If you put out a shout to kind of all parents, all people locally, you know, what can people do? And Natre have a kind of a speaker's mark as well that I tend to use if people want to get into schools, and it helps you vet them, because obviously people are coming from they're coming from a position of some level of bias, right? So how do you kind of deal with that? Okay, and I will, since we haven't got a great deal of artifacts listed there, I will come up with some suggestions that I might be able to send out as well. Okay, so I just wanted to then share some alternative places you might look for resources. So these are as we said already, these are your big hitters, where you can absolutely stake your reputation on, and I think I'd do that on anything on these sites. And the RE Online essays are so good for developing subject knowledge, because that's what's at the core of it. If you're confident, then what you do will be good. So if you didn't look at those when you were in your small group, then please do. So I arguably, like, you are the best resource that your students have got. And this is, I went busman's holiday this summer and spent a bit of time in northern India. This is a photograph I took at night time at the Golden Temple. There's a man here bathing his son. He's got a turban on, you could unpick that, and the son has got, it's called a bug when it's what young boys would have where their hair is in a top knot. And this photograph, this boy here had approached us and he asked to have his photograph taken with us, and he said, I don't have a camera, but, and because this is really interesting, I think, from a worldview perspective, right, his view of the world. He said, I don't have a phone, but I'd like to have a photograph with you. And that was, he sells biros for 10 rupees. That's what he does, and he pretty much he lives more or less in the Golden Temple, because they will provide shelter and food forever, for pilgrims and believers, and for anyone really. And so this is the Kar Prasad, which you receive after worship. It's like a sweet dough. And I think that was just another plug for the SHAP calendar there. And I think, you know, your experience of the world is so much richer than those that your students likely to be so much richer. You know, we've lived longer, so therefore, you know, don't neglect yourself and your experiences to draw upon. And I find this always quite powerful. And I thought, well, since I'll sling it in here, it's only 20 seconds. This is a video from, this is the River Ganges, and here I was in Varanasi. So Varanasi is argued to be the oldest planet on the oldest city on the planet. There's a fire here that burns, where there's a group of priests that have tended to it for 3,000 years. So it has burned for that period of time. And these are the ghats. They are sets of steps going down to the Ganges. So people congregate there every night, bathing all day, all night. It's considered a great honor. Hindus want to be cremated in the River Ganges. And this fire that you can see here is a funeral fire that will be burning day and night. And there is a constant stream of people being cremated, and the whole of life, I think, is viscerally laid bare on the Ganges. But I make good use of things that I've experienced and seen, and so, you know, you've got your phone in your pocket, and you can say the same, of course, to students, right? That they've always got that. You know, if they're old enough to, well, wherever they are, they could always have a camera, couldn't they? And there's so much out there, I think, to go and explore. So here's some other places that you might like to look. Big Ideas for RE is a great site, which has some programs of study, has some exemplar units, and my colleague Ruth would be able to help you with this. And it's sponsored by some Christian organisations, so it's quite good for that side of things. This is really good. This is a set of podcast plays and discussions kind of mixed together, for a range of faiths and humanism. And so this is kind of where you see things happening regionally. It's really fascinating stuff. So really well worth having a look at that. And you could use that because you've got to get voices. You want voices, real voices in your classroom, to hear from those people. Not you know, it's great when we confidently do it, but you want to hear from people who hold that set of beliefs. Understanding Christianity is a really well established set of resources. My colleague Ruth is a trainer for this as well. It's well worth having a look at that, considering that as an option. So yeah, the things that I've mentioned today, RE today as well, of course. The CPD, the free CPD that you can get from RE Online is so good. Those courses are really good. They're run by a friend of mine, Kate Christopher, designed by her, at least if she's not running them anymore. Really will help you or other teachers in your school engage with those things. So further support throughout the year, the meetings as I mentioned previously, and of course you can access my set of my Google Drive file I shared earlier. If you think your RE practice in your school is strong, or you'd like some support in making it stronger, then looking at the RE quality mark is a really good idea. I shared earlier today, and here it is again, this form. It'd be really helpful if you could fill that in, which means I've then got your email address in that database so I can send you stuff. And if you, it also asks if you would like to be visited or support with the RE quality marks, that'd be really helpful if you would complete that. So I think that is everything that I wanted to share with you today. And so well, I'll just leave those last few minutes for if anybody's got any questions or anything they would particularly like to share before we close for today. No. Okay. All right. Well, look, really, thanks so much for coming along. And please, I'll stay here for as long as needed if anyone's got any questions or anything they didn't get answers to, or would like some support. But otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your week, month. And if you didn't put your name already in the chat, your name and your school, please do that, because it's so useful for me to be able to keep track. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Would you mind if I ask you a question, please, Ben?
Absolutely, sir. What can I do for you?
So I'm new to RE leadership. We actually call it RD at our school, religious diversity, rather than RE. And we need to completely rewrite our progression maps according to the SACRA.
Okay.
I think we've made a good start on it, and I think we will manage it reasonably successfully. But once we have, would it be possible to get in touch for maybe a bit of advice to see whether we've included everything and mapped it out?
Remember that the advent of a new syllabus shouldn't precipitate a total rewrite of everything from a administrative perspective. So if you ever wanted an extra pair of eyes just to kind of like say, do we really need to? Because often, if you're already doing good RE, you're already monitoring progression well, then there might be some ways of just kind of changing some color coding or something to try.
As was based on the Explore RE, so it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It will then need to evolve more into.
Maybe think about whether you're using this kind of opportunity to make it a bit broader in terms of maybe a bit more focused on when we think about the skills that are trying to be promoted through an inquiry approach. Actually, if you focus more on that than on the content, then you would have something that would be future-proofed, wouldn't you? Because we'll always be, if you look at the kind of the mission statement of the agreed syllabus, that's in line with what the world of RE is saying at the moment. Religious literacy. So you could take those concepts, religious literacy, an appreciation of worldview, and you could then build your progression statements around those ideas, which are like everlasting.
Definitely. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Right, no problem.
Lovely. Thank you.
Take care. Any more questions? Okay, I can't see any further questions in the chat, so I'm going to finish the meeting there.